In the heart of the Pacific Northwest, where ancient forests stretch endlessly into the mist, there's a town that doesn't appear on any modern maps. Blackwood Mill, they called it. Back in 1887, it was a bustling logging community, where the sound of axes and saws echoed through the valleys from dawn till dusk. But the locals should have listened to the native warnings. Those trees weren't just trees. Each ancient trunk held centuries of spirits, and every ring in their cores told stories that shouldn't have been silenced. They say it started with whispers. Lumberjacks would hear their names carried on the wind, even when they were miles from camp. Then came the shadows, tall, twisted figures that seemed to bend like branches in the corner of their eyes. But greed has a way of making men deaf to warnings and blind to omens. On the night of the harvest moon, when the crew began cutting into the oldest grove, what the natives called the Birthai Spirit Circle, something snapped. The forest itself seemed to come alive. The ground trembled, and the air grew thick with an otherworldly fog that smelled like rotting bark and copper. 27 lumberjacks went into the woods that night. None returned to camp. Search parties found their axes and saws scattered across the forest floor, some embedded deep in tree trunks, others covered in something darker than tree sap. To this day, hikers report hearing phantom sawing sounds in those woods. Some say they've seen figures in old logging gear walking between the trees at dusk, their forms dissolving into mist when approached. The worst stories, though, come from those who've camped there. Tales of trees that bleed when cut, and of wooden hands that reach out from hollow trunks. The town of Blackwood Mill is nothing but foundations now, slowly being reclaimed by the very forest its founders tried to tame. But if you're ever hiking in the Pacific Northwest and come across old logging equipment wrapped in vines, or hear the distant sound of an axe when there's no one around, remember, some trees don't forget, and some debts can only be paid in blood.